Oh man, are we gonna do it? I think it's gonna be close. But we may actually do it. 1,000 of each processor created for Applied Energistics 2. Nice! And today we're probably going to need it because we're going to be working on auto-crafting with Applied Energistics 2. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to some more ATM7 To The Sky. But we need to get set up to set our Applied Energistics system up for auto-crafting. So we got a bit to do today. So without further ado, let's get into it. So like I said, I've been making a bunch of these processors and I just have this in a semi-automated system right now with some redstone dust run around the back. Or actually, the redstone dust is run around the front, power is run around the back, and then I have some drawers up top holding each one of the circuits, and then I have the printed silicon down here, and I was making a bunch of printed silicon over here on this setup. So silicon goes in, and then printed silicon comes out on this side. And I actually think I'm going to be a little bit short on the printed silicon to finish these up, but I'll have to make some more of that a little bit later on because right now I am almost out of my Certus. Yeah, I'm at 507 and I think I am storing, I want to say it's right at 2,000. I think I only have a normal drawer set up. So yeah, I didn't have this bulk set up to store up. So anyway, kind of demolished my supply there, but that's okay because we can upgrade that a little bit later on. But anyway, let's get into auto-crafting. So once again, we are going to go into the quest book in order to follow along at least a little bit with Applied Energistics 2 because I have a hard time remembering all of this stuff. But I do know what this is. This is the pattern provider, and this is what's going to allow us to provide patterns all over my base in order to request certain items be crafted. And this is going to be very, very useful. So we want to make a pattern provider, and we also want to make a ME pattern access terminal. Both of those are going to be extraordinarily useful. So let's start off with crafting a pattern provider right here, this guy, and that should be pretty simple. We'll go ahead and make one of those, and then we also want to make the pattern terminal, right? Yes, pattern access terminal. We need a terminal first off, and what is that? What kind of glass is that? Hold on. Quartz glass. I should be able to make quartz glass. Yeah, let's make a lot of that, because I'm sure I'm going to need it. Alright, so now, go ahead and make that. And then this. Bada bing. And then we're going to make another one of these. Bada boom. And that should be that quest complete. Perfect. Now what I need is crafting storage. And this is going to be for a multi-block. Am I getting lag? Are you lagging me? I'm not entirely sure what's lagging me, but I definitely felt some lag there. Anyway, yeah, we're going to need some of these crafting storage blocks, and this is going to form a multi-block that's going to allow us to do bigger crafts. So the more crafting storage that you have, the more items that you can queue up, and then you will need the crafting coprocessors in order to actually do the craft itself. So this is the processing units, this is the storage units, and together these are going to make the auto crafting system for Applied Energistics. So this should be pretty easy. I think I can just make some crafting units here, and then I can upgrade them to the different tiers. I'll probably go with all 64Ks for this. It's gonna cost quite a bit to do so, but I mean, we should be able to afford it. So I actually don't know how many of the crafting units I'm going to need, so I think I'm just going to make a stack of them for right now, and we're going to call that good, because I think I can use these crafting units to make not only the storage, but also for the co-processing units. So these are actually pretty useful, and I can just combine them however I need to. So now I need to start making some 1Ks, and then go up all the way to 64Ks. This is where things get real expensive. Get real expensive. I guess in the meantime, though, I can go ahead and start making some of these co-processing units. So I'm going to need just as many of these as I am the storage, I believe. So let's go ahead and try to make 16 of these guys, just like so. And that should be nice and easy. All right. Having a ton of these processors on hand makes this a lot easier. Now, the last thing that I do want is another quest item, I believe, and that's the crafting monitor. And the crafting monitor allows us in the multi-block itself to see what that CPU is currently working on making. And I just think that this is going to be super useful to have. So it looks like any type of monitor and a crafting unit is how we do that. So let's go ahead and let's do a monitor. Ooh, do I not have any more monitors? I thought I had made monitors. Storage monitor? Monitor? This guy, yeah. So we'll do one of those, and then just one of these crafting units. Other way around? No. Okay. Messed that up, apparently. Oh, does it have to be a storage monitor? Oh, okay, so it has to have a level emitter to it. Ah, gotcha. Okay, so that is a little bit different. That's not too bad, though. This is still super easy craft for the most part. Storage monitor. And now a crafting monitor. Perfect. So we have the co-processing units. We have the crafting monitor. I probably want a few more of these, but I can make those on my own. Last thing that I need is still that Certus quartz to get this last 64K ME storage component. And then we'll start setting up this auto-crafting. Alrighty, and there we go with our last 64K ME storage component. That is going to do very nicely. And then we just need all of those 64K crafting storages. Nice. Okay, so that is a bunch of quests completed as well, so I can go ahead and check all of these off. It's also going to go ahead and give me the level emitter checked off, and I can go ahead and claim all of those rewards. Nice. Okay, now let's go ahead and let's set up some of these crafting modules. So I'm going to set this up over in one of these hallways. I've left a nice little spot that should be perfect for this. So what I'll do is I'll just do crafting storage on each one of these sections, and then we will do co-processing units on each one of those four corners, and then a crafting monitor in the middle, and there we go. That is one section. Now I still need to hook up a P2P line over here, but this should be as simple as doing this over and over again, and I should have plenty of room. Now, I can also expand these backwards later on if I need to, so I can expand these out, but for right now, I'm just going to fill in these walls with these, and I think it's going to look pretty cool whenever we're done with it. Nice, if I can not destroy the wall here. Alrighty, so we now have each one of these modules hooked up to our AE system. However, these aren't going to be entirely useful on their own. In fact, this is more of a set it and forget it type of module for Applied Energistics. What we're actually going to be messing with most of the time is going to be the pattern provider. What the pattern provider does is it provides the pattern or the crafting recipe that these processing units are going to use in order to craft. So this is what we'll be messing with most of the time, setting up crafting recipes and such like that. And then these are going to work in the background in order to actually make those items. So really, this is what we're going to be messing with from here on out for the most part. And this will only touch if we ever need to expand. Or we may come look at the pretty pictures that are on the screen. One of those two things, though. The rest of this is going to be working with the pattern provider. So obviously, if we have a pattern provider, we're also going to need patterns and also a way to encode those patterns. So that's going to be our next quest out of the quest book, the ME pattern encoding terminal, and a blank pattern that we can encode. So let's go ahead and start working on this recipe here. And it is kind of deep because we have to go back down to a crafting terminal. So we're going to have an ME terminal, which means we're going to have more of these panels, which I'm having such a fun time crafting, I must admit. Seems like I never have them, to be honest with you. Anyway, there we go, an ME terminal, and then we can do an ME crafting terminal, and then last but not least, we can do an ME pattern encoding terminal. There we go. And now I just want to get a facade in order to cover up the back face of this guy, so it's still nice and pretty out front for us. So we now have our crafting terminal here in the middle. We have our pattern access terminal over to the left, and the encoding terminal over to the right. Now, this encoding terminal, oh, that's interesting. Okay. This is not how I thought this was set up, but okay. So basically what this is saying is we can use any of the items from our normal terminal and then encode a pattern here, place the blank pattern down, hit this encode pattern button, and then the pattern will show up here. Okay, that's actually really interesting. Okay, let's start making a blank pattern though, because we're going to need several of those, I imagine, in order to get started. So let's go ahead and let's just make one of those. There we go. And we'll put the blank patterns in here, and I think I can stack a bunch of those up, and we get some from our quest reward here. So that's going to be very nice. We'll go ahead and throw those in. And I guess the first thing that we need to do for this is, well, we should probably set up crafts. We should set up patterns for the things that we need to make automated crafting, right? It makes sense to automate the automated crafting. So one of the first things that we're going to want is a molecular assembler, and this is the equivalent of an auto-crafter for Applied Energistics. So we're going to need these in order to request specific crafting recipes. So it looks like we're going to need formation cores, quartz glass, iron, and crafting tables, all things that we have done before. So this is called a molecular assembler, this guy. And I'm just gonna, oh, I didn't mean to make that many. Well, apparently we're gonna be doing a lot of crafting. Whoopsie daisy. Well, anyway, let's go ahead and let's set up our first set of molecular assemblers together. So what we're gonna do is I have my network already run over here through a P2P channel. I'm actually just piggybacking off of what we did whenever we set up these crafting units here. So what we're gonna do is we are going to place down 6 pattern providers in a row like this, and the reason that we're doing 6 is that 6 molecular assemblers can be used in tandems together. So if I have a particular craft that we want to bulk craft 6 items at a time, then if this pattern provider asks for it, then it can still use all 6 of these. So it's actually super useful to do it in that way. And then I also have another port over here, so we can do 6 more just like this, and then 6 more molecular assemblers right on top like that. And these guys should theoretically be hooked up. However, I'm not seeing any glowing lights like I did earlier, which is a problem. These were hooked up earlier. Let's see. We working now? No, it's still only doing one at a time. Weird. Okay. All right. We'll just do this one by one. We got some glitchiness here, apparently. Huh. They should all be glowing. That's what we're looking for. Okay, there we go. All of them are glowing now. Perfect. So we're going to do the exact same thing on this side. I don't know why we're getting some weirdness here, but all right, whatever. It's fine. Okay, so we now have some molecular assemblers and some pattern providers all ready to go. Now, there's one of 2 ways that we can go about adding the patterns to these crafters. And one way is just by right-clicking on the pattern provider and then adding the pattern right into here. That is one way of doing this, and not a bad way, to be honest with you. Another way to do it is actually from the terminal down here, we can add in a pattern directly. So here is our entire bank of molecular assemblers right now. So I can just go ahead and slot this into here, and I have a pattern made up for making spruce logs out of wood essence. So what I can do now is I can come into here and I can view any craftable items in this terminal. Theoretically. Why do I not see any craftable items? Hello? Well, this was working earlier. Oh, because I'm looking up pattern. That's what it is. Okay, so here we go. Now we can see we have craftable spruce logs. So I can just make, I don't know, let's say we want to make 500. So we have 96 wood essence available, and this will create 512 spruce logs. We can hit start. It's going to automatically start doing the craft. And if we run up here, we may be able to see. There we go. It's auto-crafting, and it should also appear on one of our CPUs. And the craft is already done. Nice. So now we should have 512 additional spruce logs here in our inventory. So if we do stored and craftable and we do spruce logs, I now have 816. So I think I had 200-ish already in my inventory. But anyway, that's basically how this thing works. Nice and simple. The main thing is we have to make a lot of patterns. So probably the next thing that I should do is make a pattern for the blank patterns. Now, another thing that I should mention is that the molecular assemblers and Applied Energistics in general can actually do deep crafting. So, for instance, our blank pattern here also requires quartz glass, which is a pattern all of its own, which requires glass and Certus quartz dust. So, if we make a pattern for the quartz glass, and we make a pattern for the blank pattern, and we put both of those patterns in the molecular assembler, then we can craft 100 of these blank patterns. And even if we don't have the quartz glass available, it'll go ahead and craft the quartz glass that we need in order to make the blank patterns that we requested. As long as you have enough bytes available, which we made a bunch of 64K storage byte units at the beginning of the episode. As long as you have enough, though, you should be able to do this craft. So, as you can see, it's going to use up 250 Certus quartz dust to craft 200 quartz glass so that I can make my blank patterns. So now I can start this, and I am going to get 100 blank patterns that I can start encoding recipes with. So sticking along the same lines of auto-crafting the auto-crafters, I want to next start auto-crafting the processors. So I'm going to try and set up some automation with the advanced inscribers here so that we can get things like our calculation processors completely automatically made and buffered. So I want these things buffered up to where I have 2,000 of them ready and available at all times. And I think it should be pretty easy. However, I've never played around with this advanced inscriber before, so we'll have to see how this goes. And all things considered, this actually went quite well. These things are not too bad to work with, the advanced inscribers. But I did have a little bit of an issue with laser I/O, and I'll explain that here in just a minute. But let's start off just with the basics of what we're doing here. What I want is to go ahead and buffer 2,048 of each item. So whether that be silicon, the printed logic circuit, the printed calculation circuit, or the printed engineering circuit, I want 2,048 of them on hand at all times for any of my crafting. So if we ever go below that, more of these should be made automatically. This is how I plan on doing a lot of systems in the base, is go ahead and craft things before I need them. That way when I do auto crafting, everything's already in the system and it should be very, very fast crafts. So what we're doing is we are sending Certus quartz dust into this netherite furnace. That's ending up with silicon. The silicon is then sent back through laser I/O into our ME system, and then the ME system has a storage bus around back here that is going ahead and storing them into the drawers with this storage controller. So if we go ahead and head back to the front, that silicon is then exported into this advanced inscriber, and this advanced inscriber is making printed silicon chips. Then on these other three, we just have basic gold being imported here into this advanced inscriber. In this one, we have Certus quartz crystal being imported. And then on this one, we have diamonds being imported. And that gives us our logic, calculation, and engineering circuits all being made. It looks like I am out of gold right now, though, so this one isn't working anymore. I'm going to have to get some more gold smelted up for this guy to continue working. But let's talk about redstone. There is a little bit of a hiccup. You guys know how we like to use these level emitters so that when we have a certain number of items, we produce a redstone signal. Well, for these machines, they don't have a interface here in which I can shut them off with a redstone signal. So instead, I had to shut them off with the nodes themselves. And we can do that by using a redstone card. So this is to the south of where that node is, and to the south I have a redstone card that we are inputting. Now, the important part is what channel are you inputting to? So we're inputting our redstone signal from the south to channel 0. And then if we go to our item cards, we only want these cards to be working whenever they don't have a signal. So if they have a redstone signal, they're going to stop. So that is what redstone low means. Now, by the way, you can research all of this in the Laser IO 101 book. So if set to low, the cards will only function when there is not a redstone signal on the redstone channel. Okay, so what I was having issues with is the channel portion. So we're providing a redstone signal, so these guys should shut down and everything is on channel 1. However, if we go over to this one, you'll see that I had to configure this redstone card to be on channel 1. Sorry, this one over here is on channel 0. This one is on channel 1. And because my redstone is coming in on channel 1 for this particular level emitter, then I also need to configure these guys for the redstone to be on channel 1. Not this channel down here. This channel is where we're providing items through. For this channel up here, which is our redstone channel, we're going to have to set a different channel for each and every one of these level emitters. So this level emitter is on channel 0, this level emitter is on channel 1, this level emitter is on channel 2, that one's on 3, and that one all the way at the end is on 4. And then each one of these item cards is set up to where they are reading their each individual redstone channel to know whether the cards inside of this node should work or not. Do you see why it took me a while to figure out? And in case that made absolutely no sense to you, don't worry. We're actually going to do another copy of that here on camera because I need to set up an exact replica of that system for the logic processor, calculation processor, and engineering processor. So basically what we're going to be doing is using the components that we're making from this system over here in order to make the final processors over here. So nice and easy system, and I'm going to walk you guys through how to use Laser IO. So first things first, we have the ME interface here, and this is providing the logic circuits, calculation circuits, engineering, redstone, and printed silicon. This is all that we need for this particular system. Now, we can go ahead and up the stack amounts. That way we are providing an entire stack of each one of these, just to make it run a little bit faster and make sure that this keeps up with our machines properly. So a stack of all of these, just make sure that we're good to go. Next thing that we need is to set down our first laser node. This is going to be our main laser node, so we're basically going to shift right click on that node until it is highlighted green. Once it's highlighted green, that means that it is set as your main node, and then we can set any other nodes, in this case 3 more, and we can just right click on them, and now these are subnodes of this main laser node. So from this node, we first off want to provide power. I have this set up to my solar network already, so now we can just right click on this laser node, and I believe this direction is west. Yes, so from the west, we are going to extract energy. So we have an energy card here. Right now it's set on insert, which means it's going to try and insert energy into our flux point here. That's not what we want. We want to right click and we want to extract energy out. And we're going to use some card overclockers. I'm just going to stick 4 of them in there. And we're going to make sure that we're transferring the maximum amount of energy to power these machines. We're probably not actually going to use this much energy, to be honest with you. I just want to make sure that we have plenty of overhead. So this will go up to 100,000 if you have 4 card overclockers in here. So that makes it very nice. We can go ahead and head back. And then from the down position, we want to put in an item card that is just going to extract. We're going to extract absolutely everything. We're going to put in, once again, 4 card overclockers, and we're going to bring this all the way up to a stack. So we're going to be moving a stack out of this ME interface every time. Last thing for down, for right now at least, actually this may actually be the last thing for down, is we're going to need another card, and this is an insert card, but we're going to need a basic filter, and we're going to be importing each one of these processors back into our system. So as these things are made from here, we're going to insert them back into the ME interface, and the ME interface will then throw them into our drawers that we are going to set up right down here. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3 drawers, and then we're going to do a storage controller, which I will just sink into the floor here. So We'll do something like that, and I'll need a storage bus ran over here. I don't have one on me right now, but we'll do that a little bit later. Right now, I just want to finish up the laser IO system. So, okay, we are extracting energy from here. We are extracting and importing with this laser node. Now we need to set up each one of these subnodes. So, for this subnode, what we're going to do is in the downward direction, we are going to insert energy, and then we are also going to insert 3 items. So we're going to set up a basic filter, and we are going to insert, we'll do this one as our logic processor. So we need one of these guys, a redstone, and a printed silicon, just like that. So we can go ahead and right click this once again down, and we're just going to set all of these in here. Now, you cannot automate this entire process unless you have an advanced inscriber, because with the regular inscriber, it's not quote unquote smart. So it's not going to autofill in the correct positions here. So you have to have at least an advanced inscriber in order for this to work. So just keep that in mind if you're setting up this exact system. Then over here, we're going to do a similar thing. I'm going to try and import all 3 of these. And then we're going to do a calculation, redstone, and once again a silicon. And then for this one, we're going to item card. We're going to insert. Let's go ahead and right click. We'll put a basic filter in. And then we're going to insert our calculation circuit, printed silicon, and then our redstone. And then this should go into here. We're also going to need to insert energy downward. And now this guy should start working. And there we go. Perfect. So now the oh wait, did that have gold in it? It does have gold in it. Oh, it must have already filtered because I didn't have a filter on it yet. That's right. Okay, that's fine. This thing should be working now. It should only be importing calculation. Yeah, okay. So let's go ahead and go down. Once again, inserting energy, and then item card. We are going to insert the gold, once again the redstone, and the silicon. So this one should be pretty easy. Down, again a basic filter, boom, boom, boom. And then we'll probably, we'll have to dump out the gold once again. So there we go. Throw all of that back in there, and then we can also, actually I'm going to use these 3 to set up our drawers down here. So we'll do this, then we'll do that, and then we'll do that. And do I have my... I do. I have my configuration tool, so we can lock each one of those drawers, and then I can also link the storage controller to those drawers. Okay, now I just need to put a storage bus on this guy, and we can wire from right down here in order to do that. So let me go grab a storage bus real quick, and then we will still have to do extraction, right? We haven't done that yet? No. So the processors right now, it's just going to make a stack, and then it's going to sit in here. We need to get these extracted out through laser IO, and then have it stored back into our functional storage system here. So our storage bus is now hooked up, and I've also set the priority to be very high, which means that it's going to have a high insertion. So it's going to insert here first and then extract here last. So it should have all of these end up into these drawers first and foremost. So that is good. Now what we want to do is extract each one of these processors that we're making out of here and into the ME system. So we'll go ahead and throw those into there, clear all of this up. Got calculation, engineering, and logic processors being made. Perfect. Now all I need to do is I need to come here, and from down I need to extract, and I need each one of these processors actually. I'm going to need one of each. So there. Okay. And it looks like I double clicked on accident. There we go. Okay, so for this one, we'll do the logic processor first. From down, we are going to right click, we are going to extract, and we're once again going to set up a basic filter, and we're going to extract the logic processor. Same thing here, we're going to set up item card, right click, extract, basic filter. And technically, I don't think you need the basic filters for these. I think you can just extract, although it may try and extract out the items that are here in the craft. So I like to make sure that I put, hey, extract these out, not the things that I'm utilizing for the craft. And then lastly here, we're going to extract downward, and we're going to extract out these engineering processors. I'm also going to up the transfer amount to 8, and I may even up it even more. I may add in some more card overclockers just to make sure that these are all transferring out of the inventory and not just sitting there. So there we go. And that is the basics of Laser IO done. But now we would need to get into the level emitters. And that's where things are going to get a little bit more tricky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up 3 cables just like this. And then I'm just going to run a bit of cable up to here. Now what I'm going to do is level emitter here and here and come on, I got to get it just right. There. Okay, perfect. Now for this level emitter, I'm once again going to need logic processor, and I'm going to say once we have 2048, which is the max that a drawer can store, then we will say emit when levels are above or equal to. So when we are above this number, we want it to emit a redstone signal. So right now it should be off, which means that this thing should be working once we set up the channels. So this is to the north. So we're going to come to the north channel. We're going to set in a redstone card. We are going to input on redstone channel 0. And then here we're going to have as the down, we're going to go back into our item cards and we're going to say redstone must be low. So the redstone must be off in order for this thing to work, for this card to work. So for this card to insert or extract, it has to be off redstone. Same thing with this guy over here. We're going to do the same thing, but this time we're going to need a calculation processor. So 2048, and then we're going to set up calculation processor, 2048, good to go. Emit when levels are above or below. However, for this guy, whenever we go to, let's see, what direction was this? This was north, right? Yeah. Okay, so whenever we go to north on this one, we're going to set a redstone card once again for input, but we're going to set the redstone channel to 1. And the reason that we're doing that is so that it's not trying to pull from this redstone here. Because remember, all of these lasers are all one network. So by setting this as a separate channel, that means that we're getting the redstone signal from here rather than from here. And then we can just go to our down portion and we can set the redstone channel there to low. And then, oh, I actually just did the energy card. Whoopsie. Actually, that's probably not a good idea. Let's go ahead and set that back to 0. There we go. We only want to do the item cards. So there we go. And then channel to 1. And then channel to 1. So that should be good. Still extracting from the north. And then last guy, engineering processor. And we'll do 2048. Good again. And then from the north, we are going to put a redstone card in. This time we're going to do redstone channel 2. And then from down, low, redstone channel 2. And then low, redstone channel 2. And that's it. That is the entire thing set up. Should all be working. Make sure that everything is being extracted. Yes, it is. And then once all of these areas hit 2048 of these just stockpiled up, it should shut off. Nice. And that is how you automate with buffers and laser IO. So I guess now I just need to clean up a little bit. And there we go. This hallway is looking much better. I have to say, I am so happy that we have all of this done in today's episode, because this is going to make the entire world a lot easier. Auto-crafting, it's just such a big deal. And we have processors now automatically being made, so Applied Energistics has now become kind of our main go-to for automation, because this is just... it's just going to make everything so much easier. It's going to make everything so much easier. And look at these guys. They're already buffered up. This guy over here is going to take a few minutes to catch up, I imagine. Although, something that I did forget, I didn't put acceleration cards in these guys, did I? I did not. There we go. Go ahead and get yourself accelerated, my boys. There we go. Now it shouldn't take these guys long to catch up. Anyway, I think that is going to be where I wrap up for today's episode, though. I do hope that you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like on the video, as well as if you're new around here, be sure to subscribe. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for me today. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. You guys have a great day. Oh, this is a good episode. This is really gonna make my life a lot easier.